Morning, crafty friends. If you're watching us live today, I'm doing a go live together with a crafty friend new to me called Cara, and Cara is from Little Rabbit Designs. Would you like to say hello to everyone, Cara?
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
We're here today to do a little bit of crafting together and also to bring a little bit of we want to kind of get Cara out there. Cara is she does lives on Facebook, but we want to get her live on YouTube. And to do that, Cara needs 50 subscribers on her channel. So we're hoping that this live will push people towards Cara's channel, and yeah, we'll bring up her numbers. So if you're watching this live later on and you're not with us live right now, please do click the links below in the description and go to Cara's channel and maybe give her a sub over there.
Oh, yes, please. I
Okay.
would really appreciate it.
So, Cara, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you, are you crafting long?
I've been crafting for 20 plus years. I started learning when I was about 13. My nan was a big card maker and she got me into crafting. And I did take a little break, family and career gets in the way. And then when I've
Yeah.
got a maybe 2-year-old, so when I had the baby and I stopped working, I was like, let's make this more of a thing. Let's sort of get into this. Let's see where it goes, really.
Yeah. So it's a kind of a hobby for you, yeah?
It's a hobby, definitely. It's my only hobby really, which I love.
It's nice to have a hobby. I think it's great for your mental, it helps you mentally be in a better place. I find that myself, especially in the winter time, I think it can be very hard to keep busy and keep amused and the whole lot, you
Oh,
know?
definitely. And in the evenings, I find it's nice to just sit down and just play and make something and just do whatever comes into my head.
Yeah. And I think it's nice as well to I don't know, to make something for someone. It's easy to go out and watch people or to buy a card for people, for families or friends or whatever. But I think it's lovely when you can make a card yourself and, give that to people. I get a real pleasure from doing that, from making a card for a family member or a friend or someone like that.
I do, and to see the appreciation, the excitement in their face, especially my dad, every time he opens a card, he's always like really proud of it and he shows everybody, and that just makes me feel really happy inside.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same way too. Okay, I see we have some subscribers and some people in watching. Hello to Benita, our crafty friend. We have Alicia 32. That's my daughter over in the Netherlands. Christine Carol is here. Hi, Christine. And we have Pippa as well. Hi, Pippa. So good morning, everyone, and I hope you'll enjoy our lives. So I'm going to start with sharing the products that I'm going to use. And making masculine cards, I sometimes find hard to do. It's just having the products to make it masculine. And it's either gardening, football, fishing, drinks, golf. So it's finding something that, the person you're sending it to is going to like. So I'm sending this card. It's going to be from my husband to his dad, and he's a big football fan. So I'm using this. It's the Creative Stamping. It's from issue 92. That was some time ago. And I just like all the little, stamps that are in this. And so that's the stamp set that I'm going to be using. I've also got some products from my stash. I'll be using some made to surprise products. I'm going to use the chunky alphabet as well as the funky alphabet. So this is all on one plate. and they're a longer letter to the chunky ones. So I'm going to be using those. I'm also going to be using a sentiment from the Today is All About You sentiment set. I'm going to use the oh, which one was I going to use here? It's Time to Celebrate. That's the one I'm going to use there. I'm also going to use a sentiment from this, the All the Verses A5 stamp set. I'm going to use the these are the All the Sentiments stamp and die set, big words. And they come with dies, with the shadow die as well as the word die, and then stamps as well. So I'm going to be using from this set for my card. I'll also use some Spectrum Noir tri-blend markers to do some colouring in. And the colours I'm going to use are Gold Brown Blend, the Dark Red Blend, and the Brown Grey Blend. And I have my stamping done already. I did this yesterday. I like to use the VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and I'm just going to get that out. This is the one I use for my alcohol markers, but I would leave it maybe overnight or for an hour or two to dry. And once I do that, I find then that I don't have any problems with, the stamped ink blurring or smearing or anything like that. So that works for me. Now, Cara, would you like to go through what you are using for your card make?
I would love to go through what I'm using. So I'm using loads of products from my stash. I'm doing a garden theme card, and I had a lot of stamps and dies that my nan left me. So these are a lot unbranded. So I've just got like a beautiful sort of wildflower sort of stamp. I'm using
Mm-hmm.
some Crafters Companion products. I'm using the stitch flutterbys from Hunky Dory just to add a bit into the sort of garden theme. I've got these unbranded tool dies, and I was subscribing to the Papercraft Society, so I'm using I think it was the February one, I'm not sure, the RSPB box, and I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
using a few elements from there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use the embossing folder from Sam. I think it's the Ditsy pattern one.
I love that. I love that embossing folder. It's so, it
Like,
can do for any gender, really. It's
oh,
brilliant.
it's my favourite. It's so nice. I've got these big chunky alphabet dies. Again, they're unbranded. I'm not sure where they're from. They got numbers as well, but they're just really bold.
Lovely.
I've done all my stamping in advance, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually use just the normal VersaFine. And I find, like you, if I leave it overnight, I can use my alcohol markers. I use the Creative Craft Products ones from
Yeah.
Crafter.
Yeah. I love the VersaFine ink. I find it gives a really crisp stamping. I know Memento, a lot of people use that for with alcohol markers, but I just can't get on with the Memento. I find it doesn't give a good stamping for me. It's not crisp, and I find I need to stamp it 2 or 3 times to get a good stamping, and I've re-inked the pad, and yeah, I just can't be doing with it.
I'm so glad you said that, because I actually thought I was doing something wrong with the Memento, because that's the same problem I was having.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. I want to have a nice, juicy ink pad that gives a nice, crisp, dark black. And for me, the Memento wasn't doing it. And I know there are lots of other inks out there, but I find the VersaFine Nocturne Black, isn't that what that one is called? The Onyx Black. I
I've got the
find
Onyx
that
Black.
one or the VersaFine Clair, the Nocturne that I've used. I find that they do it. If you want to stamp and you want to use it straight away, then if you use some embossing powder, some clear embossing powder, and emboss it, then you won't have that problem. The only thing is, some people will tell you that, embossing the image and then using your alcohol markers isn't great for the tips. I think people differ regarding it. I don't feel that need to do it. I might occasionally emboss the cardstock, but I just generally stamp it and get on with it. And that works for me. So now
Yeah,
I
I
am
think it.
going to make a top fold 5x7 card, and my one is an easel card. So I purchased from Craft Stash the 10x7 card bases with matching envelopes. And what I did was I cut them in half. So I have a 5 and a 5x7 top fold card. And I just find, because normally you'll get the side ones, so it's kind of hard. And unless you're going to cut down an 8x8 or a 7x7, this one I find is a really frugal way to do it. On one of them, I've taken a little bit off one side. And this is just going to help my card to sit better. It just means that when they're together, like so, they're going to sit nicely. So this one it'll sit up and then it'll sit nicer in the card. So that's why I have a little bit cut off mine. And that way I find that when you close it up, it'll sit. I've actually got this in the wrong way round. It needs to be that way. Now, there we go. So it'll sit better in the card, and it will look better when you're when the card is opened and standing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to add a tent fold piece into it. And my tent fold piece is here. And this piece measures 3 inches by 4 7/8. I didn't want it the whole width of my card because I want it to be just shy of the edge. And when you score it, I've scored this one at a 1/2 inch, at 1.5, and at 2.5. And I'm just going to do a top, a valley, and a mountain, a valley, and a mountain. And that'll sit in there like that. And it just means that when my easel opens, rather than putting a stopper on it, when you have the tent fold in here, it will only be able to open so far, and it sits really nicely. And since I have done this once using the tent fold in there, I will never put a stopper on my card again if I don't need to, because your card just sits beautifully. And I have given easel fold cards to friends and family, and they do not know how to display them. They they literally have them standing like, the card closed. They don't know to display it in the easel position. But I think having the tent fold in here makes it far easier for them to understand what they need to do. I'm quickly going to go through the mats and layers that I have. I'm going to, after the live is finished, I'm going to go back in and I'll put in the measurements for my card, and Cara is going to give me the measurements that she's used for her card, and I will add them in the description later on. So I've got 2 pieces of mirror card. My father-in-law is a big Manchester fan, Manchester United, so I couldn't dare put anything blue on a card for him. So I'm using red mirror card for mine, and they're 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And then I have some pattern paper to go on one, and I have a piece of white cardstock to go on the other. And I've just gone down a little bit from them. They're 4.5 by 6.5 long. And I have a little piece from the pattern paper that I cut off. So I'm going to fussy cut this bottom piece, and I'm going to have that at the bottom here. So it'll make a feature. So when my easel card is standing like this little piece will be at the bottom, and it'll tie the two together. And then I've got my stamped and die cut sentiments here, and they're all ready to go. So do you want to run through the measurement for your card, Cara?
I would love to. So I'm going to do a 6x6 tent fold card. And as I have already cut, I'm just going to cut a circle aperture, I've done this ahead of time, into one of the side of my 6x6 card base. and I've done it's a 4 1/4 inch circle, and I use the Hunky Dory circular nesting dies. And then I use the 4.5 nesting die then from the same set to create this frame that's going to go on top.
Mm-hmm.
I've got this piece is 5 by 7/8 by 5 by 7/8, and I've embossed this, but I'm using the deboss side
Mm-hmm.
because I've embossed it this way, so the embossed on the white, and I just thought the deboss pattern is really cute, and it's sort of inverted, but it looks really effective.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 by 7/8 squid, and that's going to go on top of that is my layer for my mat base for my card, and then this little frame then will go on top, and I'm going to use some dies to decorate around there. For the inner panel, I've just got this plain white piece of card, which again is 5 by 7 and 7/8 squid. But I'm going to ink this up live, so I'm going to create like the grass and the sky sort of scene to put my garden sort of scene on. So it's like looking through a window.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And my tentfold piece is I've done it the full 6, just because haven't got an easel base. I thought to give it a bit more support.
Mm-hmm.
And I scored it at 1/2 inch, 1.5, and my brain has just gone there.
2.5.
2.5. Sorry.
I had to stop and think as well. I have it wrote down off screen just over here, so I would be able to remember everything.
Then I've got a piece of acetate again, which is 5 and 7/8 squid, just to go behind the aperture, just for more strength. And I just think it gives that little window scene as well.
It does,
And I've
yeah.
got
I do like
another
that.
piece of acetate, which is 3 inches by 5 and 7/8, because I'm actually going to do a little garden fence inside. So I thought if I stick my fence pieces onto the acetate, it'll give it more strength, and I can get a little bit more 3D.
Oh, that would be fab. That would be
And then
fab.
back of my card, I've got a piece of 5 and 7/8 squid in the green, and then I've just got white. It's 5 and 3/4 squid, just so I can write my message on the back then. And that's everything.
Lovely. Brilliant. So what are you going to start with? Are you going to start ink blending or assemble some of the card, or what would you like to start with doing?
I'm going to start with my ink blending, and then I'm going to go on to colouring in all my little tools ready, and my flowers, and then I can assemble the card then.
Brilliant. I'm going to assemble my card, and then I'm going to color in my images, and that way I can color as many or as few as I need, depending on how we're getting on with time. So I feel if I have the card more or less assembled, I can just chat away and color away at my ease then after that. So let's get cracking and let's get crafting. I'm just going to give a little shout out to the people in the comments. We have Kay there. Good morning, Kay. We have Benita, as I said. Barbara is there. Good morning, Barbara. She's a little bit late. Look, that's okay. And Pippa has got, she's at work, and she's hoping that we'll still be crafting when she gets home. So if we're not crafting when she gets home, she will be able to watch this on replay. It'll still be there. And all the comments will be down below as well. If you're watching this later on, if you click on the comments section, you can either type in a comment or you can look back at the comments that came up throughout the video as we were recording it. So now I'm just going to figure out what way I want this to go. I need the long side. This is the fun part. Yes, this is the way I want it. So that goes down and that goes up. Lovely. So what I need to do is join two together, and I'm going to join this onto the back of this one. I'm going to be using Kalal as my glue of choice for anything construction wise, and then anything quick grab, I'm going to use the Barely Art Precision Glue. And I really like that glue. I find it really, really good. I did used to like the Creative Crafts Products glue. I'm really hoping that they will keep a couple of their fundamental tools when they get set up. They have moved now to Craft World. There's a big sale going on with Craft Stash at the moment, but I'm going to miss getting their foam pads and their glue and all those things from there. They were really handy to get them. And it was great as a creator as well, because you could put affiliate links in your videos from Craft Stash, which was lovely because I used so much Craft Stash products. We don't have as many crafting places here in Ireland as what there is in the UK. So I'm just reaching for a bone folder here so I can burnish my tent piece. That ink blending is looking absolutely lovely, Cara.
I'm just going to show you what I've used quick. I've used the Hungary Prism inks in Shamrock for the grass, the green, and I'm using the electric blue then for the sky. And I'm just going to come back in with my green just to blend in any gaps here.
Yeah. I have to say, I've never seen those ink pads before, the Prism ones. What about you, people there in the comments? Have you seen those inks before? And how do you find them, Cara?
I actually find them really good. Just for contrast, I've got the Crafter's Companion Duet ink pad here, and I started to use that last night when I was just playing around. And
Mm.
I don't find it spreads. I'm going to use it now just for contrast, but it doesn't ink up your card, and I've got smooth cardstock as good as the Prism ink. I was actually
Oh,
quite disappointed.
oh. Hmm. And you would think with the Crafter's Companion, they're a good brand, you know?
It just doesn't spread well. It really doesn't blend half as nice as Hunky Dories do.
Yeah. I find I have a lot of the VersaFine Claire inks, and I find them really good. I like how they blend. They come up a little bit patchy, but once they dry, they blend in really nicely. And I like them because the colors I find are crisper than the Distress Oxide. But the Distress Oxide inks are so creamy and blend so easy. I think if you want a smooth blend, the Distress inks are your go-to. But I think the other inks, like the VersaFine I use and the Prism ones, like how you're blending, it looks a little bit patchy on the screen. But in saying that, it looks more like an authentic sky and
Yes.
grass, because when you look at the sky, it's not just a smooth one color. You know, you've got light and dark coming through. And I like that when I use my VersaFine inks to give the kind of look that you are achieving there on your card.
And to do my fence, this is craft card, but I did actually ink it up as well. And I actually used the roasted pumpkin from the Prism inks. And it is
Mm.
like some sort of burnt orange. But when you put it on cardstock, on craft card, I think it just looks like a treated fence, like a painted
It
fence.
does. Yeah, it does. It does have that kind of mottled wood look, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I like that. I think I might have to look into them a bit more, maybe.
I got them. Sometimes Hunky Dory do them on a sort of, they do a set 1, set 2. So you get like 6 in a pack, and they put them on special offer.
Yeah. Oh, I love a good special offer, me. I do like a special offer. Tell me, ladies, is the sound quality okay? Can you hear Cara and I both well? Let me know in the comments if I need to do any tweaking. I have my camera is quite close to me, so the volume, I find that my volume can be a bit loud, but if I move it up, I like to be able to kind of look up into the camera to make sure everything is as it should be. So, yeah, let us know. Sound is perfect, Kim said. Hi, Kim. Nice to see you here. And Kay has seen the Prism inks, but she hasn't used them. Kay is a brilliant crafter, as is a lot of the people in the comments. Benita is a fantastic YouTuber. She goes live every Thursday evening at 7 o'clock England and Ireland time. So if you haven't seen Benita's channel, her channel name is Under a Pile of Papers. And I think that is brilliant name for a YouTube channel. And a lot of the time I'll say to her, "Oh, where did you find that, Benita?" And she'd be like, "Under a pile of papers." So it's a very apt name for Benita. But Benita has a great YouTube channel. She puts out lots of content. Benita is Swedish, and she has a Swedish YouTube channel as well. But definitely this evening, if you're not doing anything, if you're not watching Coronation Street or Emmerdale or one of those, and you want to sit down and watch a little bit of crafting, I'd recommend popping over to Benita's channel this evening at 7 p.m. BST, English time. And yeah, maybe join Benita and myself and many other crafters there. I know she has a very fun project in mind for tonight's live, and the banter in the comments is really very good as well. So don't forget to join Benita and us at Benita's channel this evening. How are you getting along there, Cara?
I am just getting ready now to start colouring these little tools, but definitely join Benita. I'm going to be watching her tonight as well. She's so inspirational. I can't wait to try that elastic band technique she did recently on a video.
Wasn't that awesome? I was like, holy cow, that is brilliant. Sometimes you want a colorful background, but I like color matching things. I think if you're using your inks and then it was brilliant. Got to say, brilliant, brilliant live or
Oh,
video with that. I
definitely.
loved that.
So I'm just using the Creative Craft Product markers. So I'm just going to use some greys, some sort of browns, blues, reds, and maybe some greens just to colour these tools in.
Oh, lovely. I used to be very nervous about coloring in. I always kind of felt I wasn't very good at it, And as a YouTuber, I didn't want to be sharing with people what I'd be doing when I was really a novice. But I have to say, it's a really fun thing to do, even if you feel like couldn't color a square in just with one one color. There are so many great YouTubers out there to help you with your tips and tricks with doing it. But I found a lot of my crafty friends really inspirational as well and encouraging, to have a go. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I love it now. Absolutely love it. I found that I was using the Spectrum Noir markers and I found it hard as a novice to put the three grays together or the three blues, if you want a light, medium, and dark for a good blend. I was kind of
Yeah.
struggling because, I'd have 10 blue markers and I found it very off putting. And when they came out with the tri blends, for me, that was a game changer. It helped me with that. And now I feel much more inclined to kind of pull out the single markers and use them.
You see, I started off with Hunky Dory's Prism markers, and I actually couldn't get on with them at all. I
Hmm.
really couldn't get on with them. And then when Craft Dash brought out these markers, I watched a few videos from Lou Collins,
Yeah.
and that really sort of helped me really brush up on my skills.
Hmm.
And I find these easier to sort of colour with. I don't know what it was. I felt like the colours on the lid with Hunky Dory didn't correspond with what you were getting.
I don't think any of them really do, though, Cara. Even with the tri blends and with the just regular Spectrum Noirs, I think it's very hard for them to colour match the caps on the lid with the actual color you get in the paper. And I wonder, is it the fact that when you put the ink to paper, it has a different tone to what the color is in the plastic? I don't know, but I think it's meant to be a kind of a reference guide more so than an exact match, because if I look for a yellow and I pull out my GB3, it's not the color that goes down. It's very, very similar, but not the exact same. Right, I'm just working out how many letters there are in father and where I need to put them down. This, I've put some of the Craft Stash foam on the back of my panel, and I die cut. And I just put this through my die cutting machine once. I went forward, but I didn't come back. And when you do that, I find that the letters are really good. They'll just pop out. The backing will stay there. It doesn't cut right through the backing, but the letters should come out okay. So I just need to be brave now and get my letters out. Okay, so FATHERS. So that's 6, 7 letters. Oh, starting in the middle, kind of between the T and the H. Okay, there's the H. We'll pop that more or less into the middle. Actually, I want to come from the side because I want to put a cluster of jerseys. Okay, that makes it much easier. There's nothing worse than trying to put something in the middle and it being just off from the middle, and then it looks like it's on the wonk. Okay,
Oh, I know that
I
feeling.
want the F there. I'm going to put the... So, what are you people doing at the moment? Are you crafting? Have you got anything on your craft desk? What are you making? Are you making cards, or I'd love to know what's on your craft desk right now if you have a craft desk. Okay. This pokey tool by Made to Surprise. Do you have one, Cara?
I don't. I have got like a 3-in-1 die brush that I got just off Amazon, which I really use a lot.
Well, I have to tell you, this thing is lethal. It is pokey. And I didn't realize I've been using this pokey tool for the last couple of years. And I didn't realize how blunt, like it looks really sharp, but it is so blunt compared to the Made to Surprise one. It's lethal. Myself and Benita are constantly poking ourselves with it when we're crafting. Okay, let's see if I can get this level. I'm the queen of wonk. If you want something straight, don't come to me for it. Okay, I think that looks straight enough. Benita says on her craft desk at the moment is a mess. I can imagine it, Benita. But you're probably setting up for your live later, so I can understand why you'd have a bit of a mess. Kay said she's mending glue pins. Oh, the fun and joy of that, Kay. Mending glue pins. I think every little bottle I have has got glue pins that I've made for mine. Yeah, they're fun. Having spare pins so that you can just, this is what I love. I've got a lobster claw on my glue pin, and that way then if my pin gets bent, I can just replace it because it's got the eye at the end. So it's really handy just to replace the pin. That's what I do most of the time with mine. Okay, let's see. They're coming along lovely, Cara.
I've
It's
just
funny how we
decided.
kind of tend to go for the red and grey, isn't it?
Yeah, I decided in my head I'm going to do a set of ones with red, and then a set of red and grey, and a set of red and blue, so I
Oh,
can have like
lovely.
contrasting colours around the aperture.
That will be fab. Okay, I think I'll put my ink thing there. I have a T-square ruler. Wouldn't it be really clever if I actually got that out and used that as a level? Yeah, let's do that. Have a brunette moment, as I like to call them.
I think I have lots of those when I'm crafting. Just moments where my brain can't think, and I don't think, oh, I could use that to make it easier.
Yeah, I think of it after the fact. It's like, I should have used that. Okay, I have to make sure I spell this correctly because I can be a little bit blonde and put letters backwards. I've done that with words. I've done a birthday happy before, and I did it in a video that I recorded, edited, and shared. It's like, and it was my daughter Alicia who was like, Mom, I think that was meant to go the other way around. Oh dear.
I find
18.
sometimes when I'm writing things, the word just doesn't look right to me. And it could be, but my brain is telling me I've spelt it wrong. And then I end up actually spelling it wrong.
Yeah, I'm the same. That happens to me. And good old Google. I will get Google to confirm it. But sometimes Google will give you the American spelling rather
Yeah.
than the British spelling. I'm going to try not to get my head in the way. Okay. I don't think my father-in-law is going to be measuring the gaps between them, but sure, hey, we'll try and do it right. Fathe is next. I love doing my letters like this with the foam because I know some people die cut out the letters and then they'll die cut out the foam and they'll pull off the release paper and then put the pattern paper or whatever down on top. But I find that like too much like hard work. So I find it easier to have the mirror card on top and die cut the whole thing through. Where's the more?
I've never thought of doing that. I'm going to have to do that. Then coast it onto
Yeah.
foam.
Yeah, because I just find then, especially with the plate that I've used for this, whether you use individual dies or not, I just find if you roll it through once, then the whole thing is attached and ready to go. Sometimes they'll come out a little bit squashed, but after 20 minutes or half an hour on the card, the foam goes back up to um, its original height. But I do like doing it this way. I do find it easier for me to do it this way. I'm just being careful with the mirror cardstock because I don't want to mark it. Okay. Let's see, any more comments? Barbara said she has 2 cards on the go, but have to clean the kitchen and watch you first. Yeah, housework. That's a bummer, but it's always something that needs to get done. I try and do my housework in the morning and I try and get it done as quickly as possible. And that way I feel I have all the rest of the day because I'm very lucky. My girls have fledged the nest already. So it's just hubby and myself here and the 2 dogs. So it's great. I can go in and spend the rest of the time in the craft room and not worry then about getting it done. Okay, there, we'll go with that. Okay, says hers are the same. So I'm just putting bead stoppers on the pins to attach to the lobster claw. Oh, lovely. Christine,
Oh, that sounds lovely, Kay.
yeah. Oh, Christine said she watched that video, Simone. So funny. I know. I was mortified afterwards, but you know what? That's real life. That's real world. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Yeah. I can't claim to be dyslexic. I just claim to be blonde and have blonde moments, which are when I do silly things. But then I have what I call brunette moments when I have, clever moments. Now, I'm not saying blondes are dumb. It's just, that's that's the way the world looks at it. I'm not saying we are, but it's my fun way of getting away with doing silly things, you know? And I have redheaded moments. That's when I get angry. I have a redheaded moment. Some of my best friends are redheads, actually. I'll tell you something. They're the best kind of people to have at your back when you're backed into a corner. Now, did I spell that correctly, guys? Because it looks odd. Did I need a comma? Holy crow, am I missing a comma? I think I'm missing a comma.
Yes,
Should there be a
yes,
comma in
there
there
should be
after
a
fathers?
comma. Yeah, after the R, before the S, wouldn't there? 'Cause father is and fathers. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And you know the little bit that comes out of the A? I think I'll use that as a comma because who's to know that it's not? Won't that be grand? Let me have a look and see if I can get that. Does that look too big? Let me have a see what's on the plate. Oh, there is a little comma there. I might just die cut out that little comma because that little bit looks a bit too big. And you'll have, there'll be someone out there that'll say, oh, that's not grammatically correct. I can cut a little bit off this. Let me see. Because all I need is a little bit. And run that through my die cutting machine. I can pull up my Scout. This is new to me, the little Scout machine, and I have to say it is very good. I do like it. Oh, I can't use this because it's all a big plate. You're probably all shouting at me, you can't use that, Simone. No, I can't use that. Okay, excuse the noise. I'm going to bring this over to my die cut machine and see if I can die cut out a little comma. Use a little bit of tape on in place. Run that through.
The tools were unbranded dies, Kate, and had them from my nan, but I think they may have come from Amazon. She used to get lots from it, bless her. She was always buying them.
Okay. Apostrophe, Amanda said, yeah, it's apostrophe. Okay, let's see. I'll take that off. I was trying to take the easy way out instead of having to die cut another piece. But sure, look, it's as quick as that, isn't it?
Oh, they are a great size, Kate. They're really just perfect for adding little embellishments. And I've got another Father's Day card to do as well. I'm going to make it in like sort of tool bag for my father-in-law, and these will just fit perfectly inside.
There we go. That looks better. Now, Okay.
If I can find, I'll look on Amazon when we finish here, and if I can find them, I'll give Simone the link so she can put it in the description box. Okay. For the tool.
Brilliant. Yeah, if you send any of that to me and I can pop it in. It's the great thing about YouTube Studio. I can add to it at any time. Okay, so we have happy. I have an awful habit of putting it the wrong way up. Then I realize that the P's need to be down. So I think I'm going to do that at a angle there. Happy Fathers. And then I'm going to stamp day down here. So I'm going to do that. I should have done it before I put the fathers on, but I needed to pop them into place before I could do the day. But I'll use my stamping platform. I have day here. Where's my... So now, enjoy your day. I think that will do it there. So I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. I'm going to use my Creative Craft Products one because it's on the top. Move some of the magnets out of the way. You know, I have a couple of Misties in my under my desk, and I have to say the Creative Craft Products one, I think, is just brilliant. I think it's it works for me so much better than the Misties. Okay, so I'm going to snip my stamp apart because I don't have any problem doing that. Some people really struggle with, with snipping their stamps apart.
I quite like snipping my stamps apart, but I never knew you could do that until I watched one of Sam's videos, and I was like, didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, no, I've always done it. I Frankenstein my sentiments by snipping them apart. I feel very in control when I'm able to do something like that, you know? Look at me being a rebel, stamping, you know, cutting my stamps apart. It's very silly, but yeah, sure, why not? It's only silicone at the end of the day, and it'll still go back together. You know, it won't, you know, stick together, but I mean, when you put them in a stamping platform, you just pop them together and they'll still work for you. Okay, so we'll put that back. It's such a small stamp. I am not going to take the chance on losing it. So I'll put it back into my stamps. And there we go. Happy Father's Day. Just need to stick my happy down now. And I was debating actually putting that up on foam, but I think I'm going to have it flat and just have the fathers as the popped up piece. So I'm going to glue that down. And I'm going to use the construction glue only because there was no pin in it. So I'll use that one. Your tools are looking really good there, Cara.
I've just done the birdhouse as well. I'm nearly at the end of my tools now, so I'm going to start doing my little floral pieces then. And then I'm ready to start putting it together.
Lovely. Happy Father's Day. And then that is going to sit up like so. And I just need to stamp a sentiment here. And I've die cut out the dad, and I've did that again in the red. so that it ties in with the red from the father. So I want to put dad and then my sentiment. And the sentiment I'm using is one that says, "You're so awesome." Let me just grab it here. It says, "You are amazing. Don't ever forget that." And I know it's not traditionally like, a Father's Day sentiment in itself, but sometimes we need to tell our parents that they are, you know, amazing or good or cool or whatever. So that's the sentiment I'm going to use for that one. Kind of
Oh,
jumped out at me.
I always love writing on my dad's on the back. I always put, "You are the best dad in the world. You are amazing." Or I put little quotes of things he says.
Yeah. And there'd be room on the back that if, my husband wants to put a message on there for his dad, he can do that. He can personalize the message himself. So I'm going to add the dad up here. Now I have the card open, it's in its open position, and that way then I can gauge where I want to put the dad here. So I'm going to put that there. Tweezers are hard to use. I've got the reverse tweezers. Do you use them at all, Cara?
Yes, the ones you sort of squeeze together to open.
Yeah, I can. My head cannot work to do that at all. Yeah, can't. I don't know, am I thick or what? But I just find it so hard. I'm trying to open them by closing them. Do you know what I mean?
First time I ever had them, I was just like, I was looking at them thinking, what do I do with it? How do I use these? It took me a little while to realise to squeeze them together.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I find them hard to get the hang of it all. I find I have more time fussing around trying to get them to open or to close. Now that'll do, Grant. These are little tweezers from Boots. I think they were like €3 or something. And the only reason I got them is because they're pink. But I must have about 7 different pairs of tweezers. And to be honest, I don't really like any of them. I find to grip the little thing you're holding, some of them aren't great, but of them all, this one seems to be the best of the lot of them. So now I have the dad down, I can stamp my sentiment. And again, I'm going to bring out my stamping platform for that because I don't want to muck it up at this point. So I can pop that in here. And we'll pull out that. I mean, Sam has got some really great sentiments, the rude ones. I
Yes,
was
I haven't got
debating.
them, but I've seen them.
Yeah, I was debating the one Mum told me I had to get you a card. Was debating putting that down there. I thought that'd be funny because my my husband loves quirky and yeah, I think that my father-in-law would find it amusing too, but yeah, maybe I'm better off just sticking with a nice one. I'm actually going to clean my plate because that looks like it's got a bit of ink on it and I don't want to get an ink on that card, the white card there. So just going to give that a little clean and then I can pick up the sentiment in there and hopefully it's straight. Yeah, it looks more or less straight. We're not going for perfection here.
Brilliant.
We're just going for good enough.
I'm going to bring my inky background in to show you. Look how realistic that looks now it's all dry. Yes, it's a bit patchy.
I love
Because
it.
I think Sam did the duets in as well. But it really looks like sky and grass.
It does. I love it. I love that mottled look myself. I think it's more realistic looking because, like I said, the sky isn't pure blue. Well, not really all the time here in Ireland, anyway.
No,
Usually
it's
there's
more
clouds
Wales.
and everything. And yeah, so
The sunshine we're getting in Wales isn't usual.
let's see. Kay said, Cara, she's sorry. She missed if you said where the tools came from.
Yeah, I did say, and then I said I'll
Oh,
send you the link
oh,
to
lovely.
the description.
Brilliant. Gay said, you mean your husband will write the card? I never did that. Let me be honest, Kay. Mike will not be writing the card. I'll be writing the card because he'll say to me, oh, your writing is much better than mine. It's just a man's way of bogging off having to put anything sentimental on a card. So, yeah. Sometimes I threaten Mike that I'm going to put really something soppy on the card and he won't be able to take it back. But no, I'm pretty good. Okay, Dad, you're amazing. Don't ever forget it. I think that's great. Right, I'm very happy with that. I think I've all my bits done now, short of doing my colouring. So I'm going to stand the card up here. Oh, that looks great. I think hubby will be happy with that. And we'll bring in our colouring. And this is really handy because, like I said earlier, I've only got 3 markers. So, well handy. I did have a little practice yesterday with doing my football, and I'm using some greys for that. And I'm pretty happy with that. I was video chatting with Benita yesterday, and I was like, what do you think? Do I need more grey? Because she'd be, she'd be the one that I go to for stuff like that. So Benita said that looks great. I agreed with her. So yeah, I'm going to colour in all the footballs first. And I know a lot of people, they start with the light, go to medium, then dark, then back through. I'm a rebel. I like to start with the dark colours and go in with my dark first, and then my medium and my light. I think I watch Amy Orr. I don't know if you've heard of her, Cara, have you?
No, I haven't.
Amy Orr is a Canadian lady. Um, she is a fab crafter. She's got a great sense of humor. She's got a wicked sense of humor. Um, I think she'd love Sam's sarky sentiments. She's a great colorist as well, and she's very good at encouraging you if you're, if you want some extra tips or whatever. Amy Orr is just fabulous. But I don't know where I was going with that comment now. I've totally lost my thread.
Can I just get anyone's opinions in the comments on yours, Simone? I think that colouring's enough because I think it's very close together. So I just put a bit of colour on the flowers. But what do you think?
I like it. I think it looks really well. Yeah, I like it. I like the color of your flowers. Are they like a poppy kind of flower?
I think they're more like a wildflower. So I just thought I'd bring in like some pale sort of pinks. And I've got like a pale green rather than a bright green, just sort of muted colours.
Yeah, I think when you're going for a man's card, those muted colors, you can add color. But when you bring in muted color, I think it works really well. You can add color to a man's card. So I like them. I like those colors. I think they're very good. I think that would be lovely in the card. I'm always afraid of making it look too girly when I'm doing a masculine card. But like you were saying, there are guys out there who like their gardening and like their flowers and colors and yeah.
Oh,
I
definitely.
don't
My dad loves gardening, so I know he'll appreciate the little pop of colour.
No, have to remember not to get too engrossed in doing the colouring. And forget to read the comments. Benita thinks it looks cool.
Oh,
And
thank you, Benita.
Amanda loves her reverse tweezers. I think I just need to practice with them more, Amanda. And thank you, Benita, for that. You're always raising me up and encouraging me. Amanda thinks it looks lovely, Cara, and I agree.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Simone. It's nice to just have someone else's opinion, because when I craft alone all the time, it's nice to have someone say, oh, yeah, no, that does look good. Normally, it's the
Yeah.
poor husband. I'm like, does this look all right? Does this look all right?
Yeah, it's like when you go shopping. Like, I don't know, there's women out there that love to go shopping on their own. And I'm like, but who do you talk to? Who do you say, what do you think? Like, I like to have someone with me if I'm buying a blouse or, do you know, and I
Oh,
also
thank
like
you.
them to be honest. Like, I don't want someone saying, oh, that's lovely on you. And then you kind of, people are looking going, oh, that doesn't suit her at all, you know?
Yeah, I always go shopping. I quite often go shopping with my mum. I've got to buy something. I'm like, will you come shopping with me? It's because Luke, my husband, will say I look nice, I think, 'cause he doesn't want to offend me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a husband who will say to me, no, I don't like that. He's not being, he's not being mean when he says it, but he'll tell me like it is. If it looks well, he'll go, oh, that's cracking on you. That looks lovely. But if it doesn't look nice, and I think most of the time we know ourselves, but it's
Yeah.
just nice to get the feedback, isn't it?
I nearly forgot to do my butterfly then. I thought I was finished colouring. I'm bringing my butterfly and my little dragonfly now, just for a little bit of extra wildlife in the garden.
Hmm. I do love me a flutterby. That's what I used to call them as a kid. Flutterby for a butterfly. I think it's a much nicer name than butterfly.
I do, and Alfie, my son, he always called them flutterby.
Does he? Aww.
So sorry.
Okay, I have to be brave now and colour in the jersey. Oh, I don't like this part because it's a big expanse, I'll do the hanger first. Okay. Maybe I'll do the hangers on all of them first. I'm not a procrastinator. I'm not a procrastinator. Benita's laughing right now, aren't you, Benita? Okay. All right, I'm going in with the red. I think I'll start with the light. Do I want to start with the light for this? Yeah, we'll start with the light. Okay. Okay. Right, guys, I'm going to be concentrating, so excuse me if I don't read the comments. Okay, I think that's where I need my darks to go. And I'm going to do those little side panels in white and the bottom trim in white, but I'm going to color them in gray so that they look white. Okay.
I'm just coming in with some pink now. I'm making it a really sort of pastel butterfly.
Oh, that's so cute.
Like a pastely dragonfly. I think just to add some, keeping in with the muted tones really of the flowers. I don't want anything too heavy. I think it looks like sort of a watercolor butterfly, really.
It does, doesn't it?
So the cup has been dipped in ink.
Mm. I love your dragonfly as well. That looks really good.
So I think that's all my colouring done. I'm going to start putting my card together, and if I realise I need more tools, I've got someone standby to colour in just in case.
Good. It's perfect. I've left the colouring to last, but I don't need a whole load. I think I'll do the football boots and the football at the bottom. I can put the jersey on one side here and the trophy on the other. And then because I've got my envelope done already, because we'll be handing this, so I've made it look as if it's gone through the post. And I've used some stamps that I got from a crafty friend in Sweden called Rita. The stamps hadn't been franked, so I just cut them out and stuck them on, and I used the made to surprise stamps for stamping to give that faux look that it's gone through postage. So I don't need a whole lot. And we've been on now just over an hour. Time flies. It doesn't feel like we've been on an hour.
No, it really does fly.
Yeah. I think when you're in your happy place. Oh, Dawn is a fellow procrastinator. Yeah, I'm such a procrastinator. I had a card here that I made for a crafty friend, and I had it set up here for, I don't know, was it 3 weeks, Benita? And I only recorded it on Monday. Was it Monday, Benita? Days all blur into each other. But I finally got my head down, got it, and I had it all prepped and ready just to be recorded. But every time I went to record it, I thought, oh no, I'll do this instead. I'll do that instead. I thought I would find it harder to do than what it was. And I really enjoyed putting the card together for a finish. It's going to be actually on my channel on Sunday. Um, so yeah, I am definitely a bit of a procrastinator. And it can be about anything, really. But I kind of feel like life is short, do you know? Like you don't have to do everything when you're supposed to do it. I do it when I want. I'm
Oh,
very lucky to be,
definitely.
I'm in a position to be able to do that. Do you know what I mean? So uh, let's see.
So I'm just laying out my tools here just to get a feel of where I'm going to have them.
Oh, that's one jersey done. Just need to do the grey now. I think I'll just use the two colors on that. I'm just going to use the dark and the light on those. And they look very grey now because they're against, it's beside the white of the card. But when they go onto my card, they'll just look like white. I suppose I should have really looked up what colour the jersey is at the moment for Manchester United, but I wasn't that bothered. Generally, when you go with red, I think for Man U, you'd be grand. Okay, so let's color in this trophy.
Right, I'm sort of happy with that. So we're going to go ahead and stick these down.
Oh, I like those letters, Cara. I love
I
that
just,
font.
yeah, it's a lovely bold font, and I just used a black mirrored card just to sort of make it pop.
Yeah, that looks really good. Okay. Wow. Christine said she'll forgive me for the Man U jersey. She's an avid Man City fan, season ticket holder for many years. Oh, wow. My father-in-law is a big Man United fan. I remember when I started dating and, in a serious relationship with my hubby, even into marriage, he used to watch the matches and he'd be there with a stopwatch, literally, and shouting at the telly as if it was his club. And I couldn't get my head around that at all. Like, I didn't come from, that kind. My dad wasn't like that. So I found that really weird. But he's kind of mellowed as time has gone by. But he
I
is
get that.
yeah, he's a big fan. Okay,
My in-laws are very big into cricket,
all right.
and they're very much always like watching, and they're engrossed, and they're like shouting. And I haven't come from a sporty family.
It's fun. Do you know what? I think it's great. People who, are so into their sports and, I think it's fabulous to be so involved in something like that.
It's nice to have an interest.
Yeah. My hubby now is into the snooker. He loves the snooker. I need to do one of the boots now. I think I'm going to do the boots mostly in the greys. Okay, that's the dark.
My dad's into rugby. That's something he watches. Not like huge supporter, but he enjoys watching the rugby.
Yeah, we watch rugby on occasion. Um, but no, I love watching the snooker. Mm, and then I'll pick up hints. The red.
I'm just adding some foam to some of these tools just to make them sort of stand out a little bit more.
Oh yeah, to prop them up.
Yeah. And then some I'm just sticking flat to the frame.
Okay, and the dark for the studs. And let's see. Okay. I mean, oh, there's Buster, our ghost. We have doves at the moment coming into the garden, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They're a grey dove, but ghost is driven, demented, shouting at these birds. So it's very funny watching him look out the window, these birds, but that's what he's at these days. So many lovely birds coming around. What color are we here? Dark. I have the bird app, on the phone that tells you.
Oh,
I think it's the Cornell one that I have, and it registered 14 different birds the other day that it could hear. I was out hanging out a wash, and I stopped just to listen to the birds when I was done, and it picked up 14 different birds. I was like, wow, it's so cool. We have doves and cuckoos and sparrows and all kinds of things. It's really, really nice. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to put football boots and a football here. I think I'll put the jersey here and the trophy here. And I'm just going to do something to go on the card. So I think I might do a trophy for on the card. So yeah, if I do one more trophy and then I have the rest, I can actually color them in when and as I need them, you know. I hate coloring when I'm live because I get so kind of concentrating on it, that you forget to look up and you forget you forget to chat. Sometimes when I'm coloring with crafty friends, they're like, "Oh, Simone's going quiet. She's concentrating."
I think it does take up a lot of your concentration because you're like in, oh, we're just coming to go and don't want to do shading and
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want to get it wrong.
I'm just
you
going to
know?
add my acetate to behind the aperture just while my inked up panel sticks. So I've used Kalal for the inked panel just to give it a little bit more strength.
Yeah, I love the Kalal because when it dries, it'll go nice and stiff.
Yeah.
Whereas your white glue, it it adheres to the paper, but it has a softer catch, I find. It's kind of hard to describe it. So that's why I find using the Kalal sometimes when you want something to have strength. I find the Kalal is really good for that.
Oh,
Some people
definitely.
find it hard to use because it has a strong smell. I can't say I've noticed it really, but some people find it
I
hard
quite
to
like
use.
Kalal.
I
I
do
have
too.
noticed the smell to it, but I don't mind the smell.
Yeah.
I did use the started off. I tried out the Hunky Dory craft construction glue, and that smell was a lot stronger than Kalal, and I couldn't get on with that very well at all.
Oh,
I
wow.
found it to have a window open.
Oh, yeah, you'd end up with headaches if you're not
Yeah.
careful, wouldn't you? Really? Some glues are so strong. I find the white glues aren't as bad, some of them, but yeah, it's good to have a construction glue that you like. I see some people use the Yoo-hoo glue.
Yes, I've seen a few people. I've watched a few times Louise on Iced Images, and she uses the Yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is I've just put red liner tape on all my fence panels. I've lined up my acetate, which was 3 by 6, and I'm just going to stick my fence panels onto this, and then I can move it away just so I get an idea of where it's going to go.
Hmm. And while you're doing that, I'm going to fussy cut around my images. And I have to say, I have a scan and cut, but I do like to fussy cut. I am a fussy cutter. I have a crafty friend called Lynn, and she is just amazing when it comes to the scan and cut. And she has got me back because I had a scan and cut here. I have the CM900 and I got it when it came out, but I wasn't using it because I just found that by the time I would put my images in and get it set up to cut and then it would cut out, I just found I'd have the fussy cutting done. So I was like, can't be bothered. It was so funny. But I do use it sometimes if I get a new stamp set and there's a lot of images. What I'll do is I'll stamp those images and I'll color them all in and then I'll scan them onto my printer and print up images, and I'll keep the original that I've colored in. But the scanned images, I'll bring that over to my scan and cut, and I'll get it then to cut them all out because I might color up like I might print up 3 A4 pages of colored images. And I just find in that the scan and cut is brilliant, because you can just put in your new page and it's already ready to go. But if it's just a few images like what I've done here today, then I kind of think, look, I'll just fussy cut around it and take my time. The trick to fussy cutting is to move the paper with your left hand if you're a right-hander, and just move the paper around. I have my scissors, it's not straight on like that, it's actually tilted at an angle so that it gives you you can see better what your border is. Now, your border doesn't have to be exactly the same for it all, but I find if you keep it more or less the same, it's grand. And some people don't like that border around their images and prefer to cut them themselves and cut them up to the line. That scares me because I know I would definitely be cutting off some of the black line. I'd be desperate with that. I think the fussy cutting is very forgiving in cutting your images. Do any of ye out there like cutting your own images, or do you have a machine that you prefer to use?
I like fussy cutting myself, but I have just got a Cricut, so I am sort of trying to use that a bit more. I know you can take a photo of your image, put that in, and it will fussy cut for you, print it and cut it.
Oh. I suppose we all have our little things that we like and don't like, I was just reading the comments there. Amanda loves the collal, but she said hers has gone very thick. Is it cold? Because sometimes the collal will get thick if it's cold. My craft room is double aspect windows, but it doesn't get direct sunlight. So it was 24 degrees outside the other day, and I was set in here with short sleeves, but I had to put like a little jackety thing on to keep me warm. And I find sometimes my collal can be thick, but a vigorous shaking can help. That's what I do. I'll give it a good shake before I go to use it. And that will help. It could be the seal on the bottle. Maybe there's air getting into it, and that's what's, it's kind of setting a little bit, and that's what's making it thick. So I don't know. Maybe any of those ideas might help. Benita loves fussy cutting. Kay is got to leave. The lawn needs mowing. And if she doesn't go do it now, she'll lose the motivation. I've got to do that this afternoon. Well, later in this afternoon, because it's going to be 24 degrees, I think, later. So thanks for joining us, Kay. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see
Bye,
you
Kay.
tomorrow. Christine has I was going to say silhouette, a silhouette camo 3 for years, but only used it a handful of times because it scares her. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Mine didn't scare me. I was just unfamiliar with how to use it, and not being familiar with how it works put me off it. And there's lots of different groups, for all the different machines. But I just find the, I don't know, I was part of a couple of groups, but I just found they all kind of had a better understanding than I did. So they didn't dumb it down enough. And I mean that in a very fond way. I just found that they expected me to understand different ways of doing it. And again, I think the biggest thing for me was having to pull it out every time and set it up. Now, with the way I have my craft room, I have a long countertop at the other side of my desk. And so my scan and cut sits on that now all the time. So I'm more inclined to pull it out. But like I said, I wouldn't use it for smaller ones. But Lynn, she prints up stuff on it. She cuts out stuff on it. She gets SVG files. And wow, I was like, you should teach that stuff, Lynn. And she's really good at explaining things as well. I think that helps. My hubby is really clever and he's really great at doing things. But I find as a teacher, he can't, he doesn't express it in a way that I can understand. I feel very flustered when he's trying to teach me things. I got the OBS software for doing lives, and hubby went and he was setting it up, and I just feel like I wanted to walk out of the room. And I know he'd get a little bit annoyed then because, he's trying to show me something, but it just, when he's talking and showing me stuff, I feel like Homer Simpson, where all I'm hearing is blah, 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 blah. Oh, dear.
Thank God that's not just me, Simone, 'cause that's exactly how I feel when they're trying to teach me things. And I'm like, and I get really frustrated. I'm like, you're not talking to me, you're talking at me.
Yeah, totally. And hubby gets really insulted when I say that to
Yeah.
him. And he's like, I have 12 young engineers out of college and they think I'm great at teaching them stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? Maybe you are, but I bet if you went into a primary school to teach something to younger people, you might have the right technique for doing that. So, my thing is you might be great at teaching your young engineers stuff, but they kind of understand your speak. Like, I don't get on well with my laptop. I can save a picture on my laptop, but by gosh, I can spend 20 minutes going in around that bloody thing, trying to find where the picture is. To me, the laptop is it's like a palace with loads of rooms or a maze. I just cannot be getting on with it at all. And I know I'm not stupid because I'm really clever when it comes to some things. But yeah, I can't get my head around that at all. Okay, I'm on my last piece for fussy cotton. I can see now that I have this up close to my face that I have a little bit of red that has kind of come outside the lines, but father-in-law's eyesight isn't great, so I'm not going to panic about that. I do have what's it, blender pen, so I might see if I can push that ink back Let's see if it will. So I thought when I'd be using a blender pen, for when you have stuff like that, you go over the ink that's come outside the lines. But I
Yeah.
watched Christina Werner, and she was saying what you need to do is you use the ink blender to push. So come from away from where the ink is to the ink. And literally what you're doing is you're pushing it back in. And like that, I don't know if you can see, where am I? There. Can you see how it's pushed the red ink back over the other side of the line? So if you have a little bit that comes out, don't draw over it to get rid of it. Push it back where you want it to be, and it will move it back. See there now, that's perfect. So I hope that's a handy little tip there for you guys. Now I just need to add those on. So let's have a look and see where we're going to put them. I'll bring in my card and let's see. I just think, see, that will come off the card there. So I think this will fit better here. I do want to put my football boots and my ball here. And I think there's enough going on up there. I might put my little, yeah, I think I like that. Do I want to have two of the little cluster of footballs? No, I like that like that. What do you think, guys? The football and the football boots there. Can you see? Maybe if I tilt it that way, you might see
I
it
love
better.
it. I love it.
Yeah, I think if I put maybe that way. Yeah, I like that like that. Yeah, I think I shall glue them into place. And then I've got the football and the trophy. I can pop that onto my envelope. Mind you, I have a ball on the trophy, so I might just put the football trophy on the envelope. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to stick these down using my Barely Art glue. Yours is coming along there great, Cara.
Thank you. I'm just trying to see where I want the tools, but I'm thinking it's looking good. I don't think I need the second flower. A lot of flowers. The thing, and add that grass in. Just it looks like he dumped his tools behind the grass. So
Yeah. Got a big block. I'm going to pop that down there. That can sit on that. I'm going to stand up my card just for my position for my trophy. And I think I might, depending on how you're doing for time, I might color in that jersey to put it on the envelope.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah, we'll see how you're doing for time there. And if you're still doing some assembly, I can take advantage of that time and color that in. Be nice to have it reflected on the envelope.
The nice thing I like about pencil cards is you've got that room to do that sort of 3D background. Add
Yeah.
more dimension.
Yeah, and you can put a swinging element in there as well if you wanted.
I've toyed with it so much, but I think when it's standing up, we don't need a swinging element.
No, I don't think so either.
I've got the gorgeous garden. Go to grab a yellow ink.
I'm going to take my lightest color in my gray and I'm just going to add a little underneath where the boots are and the ball. This will fade right back, but I think it will ground them. Yeah. But I'm not going to do that to the trophy and the jersey. I don't think it needs it. So that's how that will look there, like that. And I'm going to have it so that the card then will close up like so. So I was thinking about putting a mat and layer here, but I think when the recipient pulls it out, I don't think it really needs it. I mean, it could also be folded up like that, but I think the person won't know what to do. Whereas if they open the card and it opens that way, I think they will. So I think I might cut a mat and layer for the front and put a sentiment on it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that really quickly. Are we still live? Is everything going on grand there? Guys, I could see my
I think that's fine. I'm just going
cameras.
to stand it up so I can have a quick look at the sort of standing next to you.
Cara, I see the live has gone back to starting at 19 minutes, so I just want to make sure. Everyone, can you see the live? Is everything okay? I'll just wait for some comments to come in, but I don't know what happened there. I just, whatever way I looked up the camera, you know, it had the swirling going on. Your sound is low. Okay, but can you still see our picture and everything looks good other than my sound being low? I think I know what the problem is. I would say that I've done a rookie error by not plugging. I had my phone charged. Yeah, no, it's on. It's got 43% on the battery, so I don't think that's what the problem was. Okay, I'm going to pop this onto the envelope and then I'm going to cut a mat and layer for the front of the card. So I'm going to just stick that down there. I can keep the ball with the stamp set and use that for another card. And in the meantime, I'm going to cut a mat and layer to go on there.
So I'm going to use some red liner to attach my card element.
I'm going to quickly grab a piece of my red mirror card so I can cut that down. And I shall grab my trimmer and use that to cut it. And it's 4 1/4. By 6 3/4. And like I said, the measurements will be down in the description after the live. I'm just going to make sure that that is the right. I'm going to actually take a little skim off the bottom so that it sits better when the card is folded up. So I'm just going to do that next.
Oh, I've done my tape on the wrong side. Complete rookie error.
That's looking great, Cara. Okay. And we need a white layer as well.
Am I still echoing now, Benita? I just turn my sound down. It's volume down a bit.
Yeah, Cara's sound is echoing. I think we're both nearly to the end anyway at this stage, aren't we, Cara?
Sorry, Simone, I find it really hard to hear you.
Kind of missed out what you said there, Cara, as well. I don't know what's actually happened with the live, because I could hear you really well in the beginning.
Yeah, I can hear myself really loud, but it's like you're really quiet.
Yeah, no, you sound fine to me now. And I don't see anyone, saying that there's any problems. That's good. Okay. I'm going to quickly glue this down. And I'm going to stamp just a small sentiment on the front of this because I don't want people to stand this up. I think hubby's dad will know how this stands. He's used to getting cards from me at this stage, but I'm going to stamp a little sentiment on the front. I could actually put that other football on it as well. Okay. I'm going to grab my stamping platform. And okay,
I've
so
just
Kim said
stuck
that.
my MAC piece on the back, and then I'm just going to add the white.
So Kim said Simone is quiet and Cara is echoing, and Benita said Cara is echoing and Simone is quiet. Well, I don't know that there's anything I can do. We were live for over an hour and a half, and then whatever it's reset on my phone, it's kind of jumped from that into another because I can see on the live the time that it gives me is 6 minutes 27. So I think there may be a time constraint. Mind you, that didn't happen, did it, Benita, when we went live? And we were live for nearly 2.5 hours. But as long as everyone can hear okay, I think we'll keep going. We're nearly finished at this stage now. So I think we'll keep going. Now, I know I had.
There you go. What's everyone think of the inside of the card?
Right. Oh, look. That is lovely. Maybe if can you zoom out a tiny bit, Cara? Because we're not seeing the full card.
There. Is that better?
There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That looks great. Oh, that's fab. Are you happy with
Stand
that?
it up. There. Oh, I've not pressed here. There. I can't leave it laying down so I don't knock anything.
Yeah, because everything is still wet.
Just going to find some gems just on the side, isn't it?
Now I'm gonna have this so it's on the front of the card. So when the card is closed, this is what we'll see. And I've got one of the little footballs. And what I might do is build up a little cluster here. I might do another trophy maybe, or the um, football jersey. I might color that in off screen, and that way then I'll put pictures. So if you would like to go to my Facebook group or Cara's Facebook group, we'll have images of each other's cards there. Also in the YouTube, there is an area in YouTube where I'll put the pictures as well, and you'll be able to see the finished cards. We'll take some nice photographs and share how they look. And don't forget, folks, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up over there. It will help the analytics on YouTube. And also pop over to Cara's channel. It wasn't just about myself and Cara getting to craft together. The reason for this was to help Cara to grow her channel as well. Cara is trying to get up to 50 subscribers so that she can go live on YouTube herself. At the moment, she can only go live up on Facebook. So please do click the link that will be down in the description to Cara's channel. So Cara's YouTube channel, it's her name. Um, so Cara, will you tell people what to look for if they're going over to your channel to find it on YouTube?
Yeah, I think my channel is under Little Rabbit Designs, or it's my name, which is Tara Jamieson Walton.
Yeah, when I was looking for your channel on YouTube, that it wasn't coming up as Little Rabbit Designs. It was actually coming up under your name.
And my name.
Yeah, but that Little Rabbit Designs was in there as an at. If I wanted to tag you, I would use the at. But it's easier to find you at the moment under your name. But like I said, I'll have links down below to Cara's channel after the live, so just give me a few minutes. And there are links on our social media pages with the links to Cara's channel as well. But I think we're done, Cara. Are we done?
Yes, I'm done. Your card looks amazing, Simone.
Your card looks super cool too. I totally love doing an easel card, but putting the tent folds in there because it sits up beautifully, and you don't have to have something raised up for it to sit against. Um, so I love the tent fold to do that with the easel. And you have got a tent fold, and it's just a tent fold, but I don't mean it's just a card. It's a fabulous looking card. Doesn't the background look so well there, Cara?
I just love it.
Yeah. And your colouring for your tools and everything.
I know these the blue ones, the ink did run a little bit, so I thought I'll just say to my dad, no, it's really gypsum and paint.
That's sweat from all the hard work he does in the garden.
Yes,
Okay, folks, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching our live today. I really enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it, Cara?
I really enjoyed it, and thank you everyone for watching.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for watching. And I hope to see you again soon with another Crafty Live with a crafty friend. If you're a crafter out there and you go live on YouTube, or you'd like to build up your channel, definitely send me a private message and maybe we can go live together. And hopefully, Cara, you and I might do this again.
Oh, definitely, I'd love to. I had a great time.
Great, lovely. All right, so folks, it's a beautiful Thursday morning here on the west coast of Ireland. I'm going to go and make a cup of tea and potter around in the garden after I have the links and photographs done. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me, Cara. Thank you to everyone who came to the live, and thank you to you if you're watching this after the live, thank you for watching my video, and I hope you'll pop over and visit Cara's channel next. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Ah. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there until next time. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.